Have you ever had the feeling that something big is about to happen, but you just can't explain what? As if the universe is silently preparing you, with little signs, coincidences, and that restless feeling in your chest that won't go away. And what if I told you that those random moments are actually sacred codes? That seeing 1111, 222, or even 717 isn't just a curious detail, it's a message. Your twin flame is getting closer. Closer than ever. Sounds like an exaggeration. Maybe, to those who haven't awakened yet. But for anyone who's been through the emotional whirlwind of a twin flame connection, these signs are like spiritual compasses. The problem is, most people ignore the repeating numbers, the strange dreams, or that unexplainable gut feeling that he, the divine masculine, is thinking of you. But you feel it. You sense it. Because when the soul is ready, it starts hearing what the world never says out loud. And the real question is, will you listen, or let it pass you by? Today, I'm going to show you what these signs actually mean. And more importantly, why they're showing up now. It's not coincidence. It's not paranoia. It's preparation. But before you can truly receive the universe's message, you need to be willing to see with new eyes. Because if your twin flame is near, what you choose to do next changes everything. Have you been seeing 1111, 222, or even 717? Just as you're thinking about him? Or maybe those numbers appear out of nowhere, on a clock, a license plate, a receipt, and something inside you just knows, it's about him. It's interesting how certain numbers keep showing up right when a thought of him pops into your mind, isn't it? That casual glance at the clock, and there it is, 1111. Or you finish a simple purchase at the store, and the total comes out to exactly $7.17. And even if no one around you understands, you feel it, in a way that can't be explained, that those numbers have something to say. They're like cosmic notes written just for you, silent messages that whisper, he's thinking of you too. Many people call it coincidence, but those who are spiritually awake know that the universe doesn't deal in random events. Especially in a twin flame journey, these signs are energetic codes, a subtle language only the heart can truly interpret. When 222 appears in the middle of a stressful day, it's as if time pauses just long enough to say, hey, the connection is still there. This isn't superstition, it's vibrational alignment. And it happens when souls are calling out to each other, even across great distances. But what happens when this alignment becomes constant? When angel numbers repeat so often that you simply can't ignore them anymore? The answer might be closer than you think. Because if these numbers are showing up with such intensity, it's very likely your divine masculine is tuning into you, and he may not even be aware of it on a conscious level. But your soul knows. And yours is listening to that call too. So now the real question is, what is the universe about to reveal? In a twin flame journey, numbers aren't just numbers. They are energetic codes. Subtle messages from the universe. And in many cases, they're also direct signs that your divine masculine is tuning into your frequency. In a world where everything seems to have a logical explanation, there's an invisible layer that only those walking the twin flame journey can truly access. And in that subtle dimension, numbers become far more than random digits. They're like tiny portals, signs that open at just the right moment to remind you, you're not alone in this. Every 1111, 444, or 717 that shows up is like a cosmic password connecting you directly to his vibration, even if his body is miles away. These vibrational codes, also known as twin flame numbers, work like a spiritual radar. When you start seeing them frequently, it means you're tuning into something greater than what your eyes can see. It's like turning on a radio station and realizing the signal is crystal clear, exactly what you needed to hear at that moment. And sometimes, that signal comes through a number flashing on the microwave screen, or in the exact view count of a random video. Coincidence? Not even close. It's alignment. It's the divine masculine feeling you. And when that alignment becomes constant, a silent conversation begins between souls. Not through words, but through vibration, intuition, and sensation. He might be somewhere across the world, living his life, and suddenly, a dream, a memory, or a strange restlessness begins calling to him. And that call echoes inside you. 222 shows up. You get goosebumps. And without knowing why, you just know. But if the numbers are this clear, why do we still doubt? Maybe the answer is hidden in that number that keeps showing up for you. Sign 1 hour 11 minutes and 11 seconds, when your thoughts connect. 1111 feels almost like a sacred calling. A lot of people think it's just a pretty time on the clock, but those walking the twin flame path know it's so much more than that. When this number shows up right at the moment he crosses your mind, that sudden, involuntary thought, it's as if the universe opens an energetic tunnel between the two of you. A clear sign that yes, he's thinking of you too. And more than that, your thoughts are syncing up, happening in real-time connection. Picture this moment like two radios tuning into the same frequency. You're doing the dishes, completely distracted, and somewhere else, maybe while driving, he's thinking of you too. And then, bam! 1111 appears. This number is like a cosmic mirror reflecting back the alignment between minds and hearts. That's why so many people link it to energetic portals, because it literally opens a channel between dimensions. It's not an exaggeration, you could call it emotional quantum physics. When this happens, pause. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes and visualize a golden bridge between you and him. Feel that connection vibrating inside you like a memory being reactivated. Want a simple practice that helps? Write down exactly what you were thinking in that moment. It might seem silly at first, but when you look back on it later, you'll realize there was a message there, one the universe delivered with laser precision. And the next time 1111 shows up, maybe you'll already be ready to receive what it wants to say. Sign 2, 222, Emotional Alignment. You know those days when your heart suddenly feels heavy for no reason? When you feel an unexplainable longing or an emptiness that seems to come out of nowhere? And then 222 on the clock. That's how 222 shows up, like an energetic hug in the form of a number. It appears as a quiet answer to your silent question, a subtle confirmation that the emotional bond between you two is still intact, even if it's invisible. On the twin flame journey, 222 isn't just a pretty number, it's a messenger of peace. This number speaks directly to your emotions. It shows up in the moments when your heart needs to be reminded that harmony still exists, even when your mind starts to doubt. It might appear right after a tough conversation, or maybe after a vivid dream about him. It's as if the universe is saying, breathe. He feels it too. That's when 222 acts like an angelic code, a gentle reminder that your emotional connection with your divine masculine is still alive and very much present, even in the silence. If you've been seeing this number often, try creating a space of inner balance. Light a blue candle, write in your journal about how you're feeling, or play a song that soothes your spirit. All of this helps to keep that emotional frequency in tune. Because 222 is asking you to stay aligned with yourself, so the vibrational field between you two remains strong. And when that number keeps showing up, well, maybe the next sign is already approaching, in an even more mysterious way. Sign 3, 717, Spiritual Messages in Motion. 717 doesn't arrive with a bang. It slips in quietly, almost unnoticed, yet it leaves a powerful trace. It's one of the most mysterious twin flame numbers for a reason. When it starts appearing often, it could be a sign that spiritual messages are being exchanged between you and your divine masculine, even if you're not in communication. It's the kind of number that shows up after a strange dream, a deep meditation, or a sudden wave of déjà vu. It speaks of movement, especially in the unseen. This number represents cycles, endings and new beginnings, like a spiral. Maybe he's dreaming about you, even if he doesn't remember when he wakes. Maybe you suddenly smell his cologne out of nowhere, and seconds later, 717 appears. Coincidence? Not on this journey. He could be going through a quiet awakening, sensing your energy in flashes, fragmented memories, or feelings he can't explain. And 717 shows up to say, yes, the connection is alive. Something is shifting. If this is happening to you, here's a powerful practice: write him a letter, even if you never send it. Pour onto the page everything that's flowing spiritually, as if your soul were translating itself into words. Then burn the letter or keep it somewhere sacred, creating a ritual of release and surrender. 717 invites you to trust what you cannot see, but that's just as real as any physical touch. And if this number keeps following you, the next sign might already be at your door, even if it still looks closed. Sign 4, 444, his higher self is protecting you. There's something about 444 that feels almost like hearing a silent voice whisper, "You're safe." This number carries an ancestral vibration, as if it were a gathering of guides, angels, and soul protectors working behind the scenes for your well-being. And when it shows up in your life, over and over again, it might be your divine masculine's higher self reaching out to you. Even if he's still spiritually asleep, there's a part of him that already understands everything. And that part, Claudia, is protecting you. Seeing 444 in the middle of a hard moment, a doubt, a fear, a sudden sadness, feels like receiving an invisible hug. You might be sitting on a bus or about to fall asleep, and there it is, 444. This isn't just any number. It speaks of stability, strong foundations, and divine protection. On a twin flame journey, it reveals that forces beyond logic are at work. It's your divine masculine, in a higher dimension, silently looking after you, in ways even he might not fully understand. Wondering what to do when this happens? Pull inward. Say a quiet prayer. Light a white candle. Whisper a thank you. Create a small ritual, as if you were accepting his presence, even from afar. 444 appears to remind you that you are never alone, not even in the moments when loneliness creeps in. And maybe, the next time this number shows up, something within you will also awaken to a deeper way of feeling this connection. Sign 5, random numbers repeating when you feel him. Have you ever had that strange, yet oddly familiar, feeling that he's near, even when there's no logical reason for it? And then, right after, you glance at your phone, and it's 3:33. Or you get change from a purchase, and the amount is $7.77. These numbers, which seem random at first, show up as instant confirmations that what you felt was real. These are angel numbers in action, little winks from the universe, validating that the bond between you two is still very much alive. These repeating numbers don't follow a fixed pattern. They appear when the heart is more open, when his presence brushes over your soul like a sudden breeze. It might happen during a quiet walk, or when you hold an object that somehow reminds you of him. These are simple moments, but they carry an unexplainable energy. You feel watched, not in a negative way, but in a spiritual one, like his consciousness touched yours for just a second. When that happens, take note. Start a little journal of signs. Write down the time, the number, and what you were feeling. Over time, that journal becomes a spiritual map, revealing patterns you couldn't see before. That's how you begin to translate the invisible language, to understand how the universe speaks to you, and how your twin flame responds, even unconsciously. And if these signs are appearing more often, maybe the most important one of all is already on its way, hidden in the silence between one number and the next. Have you ever stopped to think that these numbers aren't just appearing, they're responding? They show up when your soul is more open, when your frequency is clearer, and your heart is more attentive. It's no coincidence that twin flame numbers become more intense precisely at the moments when you start trusting the unseen more than the obvious. Because it's in that silence, where logic fails, that spiritual truth finally has room to speak. And it does speak, through numbers, goosebumps, dreams, and that intuition you just can't ignore anymore. These synchronicities aren't for everyone. They show up when you're spiritually mature enough to understand that the universe doesn't roll dice. Seeing 717, 222, or 1111 isn't just pretty, it's deep. They're sacred conversations happening without words. It's like his soul whispered a message into your guardian angel's ear, and it was delivered to you in the form of a number. Sounds crazy? Maybe. But it makes more sense than a lot of logical relationships, doesn't it? So trust. Trust what you feel before you trust what you see. Because when your divine masculine is spiritually near, your soul senses it long before your eyes ever will. And sometimes, what you're calling intuition, is actually his soul calling you back. Now here's the real question: what will you do with this knowledge? Will you ignore the numbers, the synchronicities, the feelings that show up in silence? Or will you choose to listen to this subtle language of the universe and respond with intention? Tell me, which of these signs have you experienced most strongly? How did they make you feel? Share your experience in the comments, because your words might light the way for someone else who's still searching for answers. And take a moment to reflect. Maybe it's time to change how you see your connections, and how you feel your truth. If you want to keep uncovering these hidden messages in your everyday life, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. There's so much more coming your way: guidance, insight, and spiritual strength, all to support you on this journey that's only just beginning. Because in the end, understanding these signs might just be the first step to transforming your life, and your love.